Welcome in, SEC Unfiltered fans. While others are infatuated with other sports or other events going on, I and my fellow baseball diehards will be breaking down everything that we saw Friday night. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This one's going to be a very interactive show, if you will. So any comments that you have, please drop them down in the chat. With Chris being out, I did want to remind everybody that the wait is over. Baseball season is finally here, and you can swap the season. You can start the season strong on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, FanDuel is celebrating the return of baseball by giving new customers $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to get in on the action, from hits to steals to home runs. They've got this lineup filled with all your favorite bets. Or if pitching is more your thing, FanDuel has a deep bullpen bets from strikeouts to shutout innings. So when you place your first bet, you can bet on almost anything. It doesn't have to be college baseball related. And if it hits, you'll get $250 in bonus bets. My favorite bet for the weekend has been the over in that Florida-Missouri series. That one is in a rain delay, so if you do want to jump on that, be sure to find that. From a college baseball or from a pro baseball, I'm a big fan of the Nefri. I do about one Nefri a day, and it hits at about 70% rate. So if you want to tail, feel free to tail in. Just visit FanDuel.com/SEC Unfiltered. That's FanDuel/SEC Unfiltered to join today. Make every moment with FanDuel the official partner of Major League Baseball count. Disclaimer, must be 21 years and present in select states. For Kansas, is it affiliated with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire in 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. That's 1-888-789-777, or visit ccpg.org chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpline.ma.com or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. We got all of our gambling reads out of the way. What a great night in college baseball. We'll start with some of the ones that were final. Probably the biggest shock of the weekend, if you will. The Arkansas Razorbacks put belt to ass on the Georgia Bulldogs. They added on early, they added on late. They really delivered everything that you could ask for with a 7th-run 9th inning to really kind of put the exclamation point. Really, for me, what really stood out was the flexing of the Arkansas bullpen, as well as the power numbers. Also, we had a triple at Foley, just absolute outrageousness down there at Foley Field. Dogs are fraud. They aren't even a top 25 team. Get them out of the rankings. That is 4 straight SEC series for them. Good news for them, while they are losing these games, they are playing like top 2 or 3 teams, if you will, based on how Texas and Tennessee fall out. It's just been an incredibly hard stretch for the Georgia Bulldogs, if you will. If you're going to look for some positives, they did kind of chip away. They had the lead early. Brian Curley looked pretty great. The bullpen finally let them down, so a little bit shocking in that aspect because their bullpen's been so good. But, I mean, everybody was just tremendous. Aloy, the two brothers, had 6 RBIs between them. Camden Cozell had a hit, too, as well, to extend that hitting streak. Felt like every single time that they were on base in every single inning, they were extending it. Colby Branch for Georgia was pretty good. Georgia got deep fried. Yep, I would definitely say that. Yep, a solo Jake. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll try and get through the comments as fast as we can, but I can't believe I'm rooting for Ole Miss to beat Tennessee. Yeah, I got to be honest. Ole Miss is down 3-2 in the 9th. I think a lot of people in the country are rooting for Ole Miss, which does feel very weird. No one cares about who you're rooting for. Oh, sorry. This one's going to be very tricky because I'm also named Jake. Might have to refer to me by my last name, Mckeever, just to make sure. That one went final. That Texas game is pretty much final as they are up 6-2 or in the bottom of the 9th. Texas A&M really exercises some demons, if you will, winning 17-0 over what's left of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Walks definitely played a big factor in this one for the South Carolina pitching staff. I do feel pretty bad for Roman Kimbrell. He was at one time just a very dominant pitcher. Injuries have kind of taken their toll on him. He's not the pitcher that he once was, if you will. Texas A&M had 8 bases on balls tonight. They had, again, 17 runs on 10 hits. You're not going to win a lot of games when you walk that many people if you're South Carolina. South Carolina did have a singular extra base hit, so they're kind of returning down to their weekly average, if you will, after a power onslaught. I was really intrigued to see how South Carolina was going to respond after the walk-off from Caden Sorrell last night. When I was down in the camera well, everybody that was on the South Carolina bench didn't move for probably a good 30 seconds before Paul Maneri kind of came and got everybody and said, everybody get your stuff, let's get out of here. They left quick. They left out the back door. And there was a little part of me that was saying, A&M really hasn't strung together 2 straight good days of baseball, that their best day of baseball was a sweep over the Tennessee Volunteers. It's back-to-back ones. It's something that we haven't seen in the SEC from Texas A&M. They're still behind the 8 ball. Gigambart, how about them Aggies? Don't let them get hot. I believe that they already are hot, but you don't want to be the hottest team in April. You want to be the hottest team in May. Camera issues. There's going to be no camera issues tonight, Chinook. So if you are, in fact, watching, be sure to go to Chinook Seedery. Use code. Chris didn't actually give me the code, Chinook, so we might have to drop Chris's code in the chat. Jake, what shirt is this? Just a generic baseball shirt from the warehouse. Kind of try and mix things up a will. I have a bevy of jerseys behind me to choose from. But I think that this is about as good of a series as you can from Texas A&M. They beat up on an inferior opponent. South Carolina still had a little bit of meat on the bone, if you will, like Florida is, where they're not completely dead. But I think that this semblance of Texas A&M dominating them, it's going to be tough to kind of come back from this, as they were already kind of behind the 8 ball, if you will. It's been a weird one. I don't know why Kennedy Jones hasn't been playing. Someone who's more of a South Carolina guy will have to help me out with that. They're just a weird team that singles. That's the thing about them. So they got to string together a bunch of hits. Justin Lampkin was tremendous for Texas A&M too as well. Bear Harrison's just continued his hot streak. Caden Kent went 3 for 4, which I believe adds his total for all of the SEC. I actually on Instagram yesterday, I saw a video of Caden Kent in Omaha and talking about his approach. And he talked about how it's, a faultless game, if you will. It's not a very rewarding game that you put in a ton of time into the cages, and you don't always see that fruition. And, it's good to see somebody like him make adjustments, because he is constantly tinkering with the swing, constantly watching film. He's one of the hardest workers I think that's ever been around the Texas A&M program. So it's always good to see somebody like him. Max Coffer, I thought it was very odd that he didn't hit today. He got a pinch hit late. I don't know why he's not playing. He's the best defensive catcher that South Carolina has. He's really had some quality ABs. It's been a weird thing to kind of figure out. Texas will finish off Kentucky, as that one just gets final on my side. Texas was obviously tremendous again. They used 3 bullpen arms. So they used Spencer, Grubbs, and Volantis. Volantis with only 11 pitches. So he'll definitely be back at the end of the weekend. That drops his ERA down to .92. Max Grubbs, 3 innings of work for him. ERA rises, if you will, to 1.71. It's just been an incredible pitching matchup. We keep talking like, hey, Texas can't get through the weekend with just 5 or 6 guys. Actually, it's just been 5 guys. Texas seems to be completely fine with that. 14 Ks for the Horns. Spencer had 7 of them. Grubbs had 6 of them. Volantis in his 1 inning of work. The return of Adrian Rodriguez, while he did go 0 for 4, he did score a run. I think he looked really good from a health standpoint too as well. So it's good to see him kind of back out there, as he's a very big boost to this lineup as they try and get healthy. Jaden Duplantier got to play a little bit too. They're still kind of trying to figure out that Easton Winfield Duplantier, platoon, and left, if you will. I think that's going to be something that Texas really wants to take their stuff to the next level. Obviously, when you're pitching like this, it doesn't matter, but they really need to get a little bit more production out of one of those two guys, or figure out something from the depth of that standpoint. But Casey Borba looked really good too. He had some high quality at bats. Evan Mendoza, the Arizona State transfer from Dallas, that's just a Longhorn by heart. He said he couldn't even go to Texas A&M, but when Sloss left, he was able to follow him. It's been really good to kind of see Texas go in, take game one of the series. They did leave 9 guys on base. Kentucky, though, is just such a, brush fire, if you will, such a meat grinder of a lineup. So it's just one of those things where, get in, get out, get a win. Anytime you can get a win on a Friday night on the road in the SEC, you always take it. Which, speaking of that, will transition over to Ole Miss and Tennessee. The triumphant return, if you will, of Liam Doyle as they try and finish this one off, as Ole Miss has a runner on first, 1 out. They are going to the pen with Nate Snead as I have this one up on the other one. But what an outing from Liam Doyle. Ole Miss only gets 3 hits off of him, 14 Ks, only a singular extra base hit. Only one. Sorry, one walk. I have 2 on the live stats that I have up. Let me double check because Judd Undermark just flat out. Yeah, he had 2 walks there for him. 2 hits, 2 walks, 14 Ks, 1 wild pitch. Brings that ERA up under 2.75. It's just an incredible outing. I'm surprised that they went and kind of pulled him there. I'm surprised that it didn't take like one of those straight jackets that like mental institutions take. I didn't think that there was any way Liam Doyle, but at 111 pitches, the velo did dip in the 8th on that strikeout as it was 93, and he's been up to 96, 97. But just a gritty win for them. Andrew Fisher gets a hit too. They walked him twice. I'm surprised we didn't see a plunked batter. But Tennessee struck out 10 times again. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, you can't really complain about winning on Friday night. Obviously, if you're Tennessee, you hope that you can get more out of the bats. They'll make adjustments. They always seem to. And it really wouldn't surprise me if they come out really hot tomorrow. But again, Manny Marin, I think, was another guy that just did good. He had an incredible play in the field, which, by the way, there's just been some incredible plays across the SEC tonight. Jackson Willits had one, too, where he stole a hit against Vanderbilt. Manny Marin at second base. If there's any more that I missed, Jamal George yesterday. South Carolina, KJ Scobie made a few diving plays too as well. But if there's any that I missed, just please drop them in the chat. I would love to see, because as a career 220 hitter, I love to see defense. So I actually prefer the diving catch over the walk-off home run, mostly because I never hit a home run. But definitely like that. Tennessee, we'll stay with Tennessee here as they kind of close this one out. Dylan Loy is in. Some notes on it. Let me see when those walks were for Liam Doyle. I mean, he really battled. Like early on, you could tell from the jump that he really had his best stuff, getting those 2 strikeouts in the first inning. It really wasn't a grind it out type of one. I felt like it was more Ole Miss grinding it out, as when they got into that 5th inning. That's really where they kind of grinded it out. It started with a walk and then the Foley home run. And that's really been Ole Miss's offense tonight, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know how you don't have a better offensive approach tonight against your former player in Liam Doyle. I get that he's up in velo, but you're telling me you saw this guy a ton in the spring and you can't figure out how to get it on. Let's be a bit more positive. Close this out. It's a 1-run game. Yep, it is a 1-run game. Will Furness is up to bat, who has kind of had that clutch steam, if you remember back to that Florida one. Randy Etheridge, horns up player. Yeah, quality win for the Horns. They just continue to kind of stack them up. I cannot wait for that Arkansas-Texas series. I hate to kind of look ahead. I know that the players aren't looking ahead to that one, but that first weekend in May when it's Arkansas and Texas, what you know about them? Yeah, it is a Mexican Coke. Big shout out to Costco, who has all of my Mexican Coke needs. The jersey. Yes, we are up to 154. I am running out of room. I'm probably going to need a third jersey rack. If there's any jerseys that I don't have, just feel free to let me know which ones I have. I have everyone in the SEC except for Auburn and South Carolina, everybody in the ACC, still working on some of the Big 12 stuff, and then obviously a few unique mid-majors. Will Furness is up. Let's go to some of the other games just as that Tennessee one kind of closes out. Aiden, thanks for tuning in every night that the Horns win. Just be sure to tune in. It's great that the Horns kind of get it out. 150, that would probably take like 30 minutes because I do have a few signed stuff. I do have a few game issued stuff. I have a few in cases. But we'll go on to another game that's probably about to go final here as LSU is down 8-4 to Auburn. Actually, that one just went final. I am following the live stats on that one. I don't have that one up just because I have the Tennessee game going on the other one. Just an unreal performance from Sam Dutton, an emotional performance. It was just his I wouldn't say triumphant return because it was a home game for him. That one goes final. Let me see the scoring because I was following it on Twitter. Yeah, Chase Freilich. Ice Tigers had that long triple, and then Cooper McMurray singled it home from there. That was really kind of all that she wrote. Curiel and Jones kind of chipped away a bit, if you will, but that one was completely out. And here is the man of the hour. We will wait as he gets his camera set up. There we go. Chris, how are we doing tonight?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Let me flip this around. There we go. That's better. Okay, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Well, Chris.
Hey, what's going on? We are walking T-Town because Bama was getting belt put to ass, unfortunately. So State was swinging the hell out of it. What's up, man?
Chris, that is a bold move going with the upside down letter hats after all that's been going on.
I know. Cole and Dave were talking shit about it. Well, we had this hat on. Yeah, I did have the Bama hat.
That's a clean hat.
But it was I think it was 4-0 State early, and then I took it off. And then Justin LeBron hits a bomb. So I was like, all right, well, it was bad mojo. It was. And then it didn't matter because, bro, our boy St. Adams is getting cut up a little bit. I don't know, man. He's
he kind of did this a little bit last year where I think they kind of overtaxed his arm a little bit too early. I think he just kind of needs some get right stuff. You know, Harrison would know better than me about the health of a pitcher, but I think that's really what it is. Maybe moving him into that Saturday role and getting Riley Quick into that Friday night role would be the solution. But where has this offense been from State? Like they're about to run roll Bama at home.
I will say this: I like Zane Adams, but you know it's as simple as he leaves a lot of pitches fat. There's just a lot of fat misses that, I mean, Ace Reese is really good. Noah Sullivan's really good. Hunter Hines, finally he's getting going. So
it's those big guys, man. Those big guys take a little bit.
And I mean, dude, I will say this though: Bama was connecting on Pico Khan. It was right at guys all night. So
it's a good lineup. It's a really good lineup.
I mean, the pitching let him down. It's just, you can't give up. You can't give up a 7 spot in an inning on a Friday and win. So
yeah, you can't give up 17 hits anytime in expected.
17 hits.
17 hits.
I didn't even realize it was that many. God.
17 hits, 13 RBIs.
Yeah.
2 home runs.
You got to shout out Riley Quickstep.
Yeah, so funny enough, Jake, big dub for the SECU crew tonight. So we met Riley Quick's father as we were leaving the game, and that was awesome. And come to find out, Riley Quick is a SECU consumer.
That is awesome. We love to hear it.
He knew who your boy was. So Riley Quick and the Bama boys are paying attention. So. That's why we're here. That's why we're here showing love, man.
Big shout out to the right field Rangers. Chris, did they get a beer wall out there going?
The right field Rangers?
Yeah.
Right field Rangers, yeah. Hey, I've been told the right field Rangers, you can bring your own 6-pack as long as it's not glass.
Can't confirm.
Come on, baby.
Get out there.
Why not? Hey, we need postseason baseball at the Joe more than we need air to breathe.
Oh, God, I will be down here for that.
Yeah,
Chris, did you see the lank Justin LeBron NIL shirt that they made?
No.
So it's Lank, and then the A is that Bama logo that's on your hat, and then the banner says LeBron.
Really? I did see that.
That is just that's probably my favorite piece of NIL merch. Better than the $60 Charlie Condon shirt they tried to sell last year.
That too. All right, so I'm gonna have to get out of here soon. So I want to really quick hitters, Jake, for you before I get out of here. Again, I appreciate the audience being flexible, rolling with the punches.
And we lost Chris's audio there for a second. Chris. I will go ahead and text Chris and let him know that the audio is down. Sorry about that as Chris kind of rambles on, checking out. Yeah, audio, not camera. Chinook, we're going to have to double check and see if that is going to... He's still rambling, by the way, in backstage. I don't think he's realized that he's not on. Audio, not camera. So I think that we can kind of chalk that one up. Let me see... Let's get back in here. There we go.
Calling me. My brother was calling me.
Your audio is back. Your voice, Chinook, did say...
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, it said audio, not camera.
No, all right, so here's what's happening, and I actually feel like a dick for this. My brother who's in the Army, shout out my brother who's in the Army, he is actually leaving Alaska today to come home. He finished up his 4-year, whatever you call it. What is it? Your 4-year tour. He is embarking on a 2-day 23-hour drive.
Ooh.
So
he's driving straight to the jail, right?
I just ignored his call because I knew Chinook was going to give me shit for technical difficulties.
He's driving straight to the Joe. So if you're at a frat house,
to the Joe.
If you're at a frat house right around Bama, there's no excuse.
He'll see you in like 10 days for the midweek.
Let's get some W's in the chat for Brother Phillips.
Yes, yeah, get some W's in the chat. Anyways, I was going to say, so I saw Tennessee early was putting it to Ole Miss. Yes?
Yes, that one just went final.
Final. What do we get for a final?
3-2. Liam Doyle went 8 1/3, 14 Ks, 2 walks.
8 1/3 at his old spot.
Dylan Loy comes in and slams the door. They got 2 on as Mormon and Furnace both walk. Header Federico lined out to end that
Liam
one.
Doyle 8 1/3 in the old crib. Wow, that is.
Andrew Fisher 1 for 2.
Drop your nuts on him.
Well, speaking of that, Sam Dutton.
Sam Dutton, yes.
With the drop your nuts.
That was the ultimate revenge game. Cade Anderson coming off of a 130 pitch outing. That screamed Auburn. Auburn, Jake.
Sam Dutton 3 hits, no runs, 7 Ks.
Is that one final?
That one is final.
What was the final score? I saw it was 6-0.
8-4. Ike Irish had that big bases cleared triple, and then Cooper McMurray banged him in, and that was pretty much all that she wrote on that one.
Saw you already missed a pick with A&M. They put belt to ass.
Hey, I'll happy to be wrong. Wait, hold on.
They put some belt to ass, buddy.
Did Aggie find their mojo? I believe that they did.
15-0.
No. They won 17-0, Chris.
17-0. Dude, 17-0, 17-0.
That's how you are.
In baseball.
Only 10 hits, though, Chris.
A lot of bombs.
A lot of walks.
South Carolina has one of the worst pitching staffs in the conference, to be fair. So, what about Arkansas, Georgia? I saw it 3-3 at the last time I checked.
Dude, Arkansas put belt to ass with a 7-run night, 13-3.
You're the one that started it with me.
Yeah, but like
the Pat Beverly clip got me going.
Yeah, it's an incredible.
All right, 7-3 final.
Yeah, no, 13-3.
Whoa, dude! I hate how much I love that Arkansas team.
They're good. The Alloy boys were rocking. They had a triple. There was a triple.
Jake, I want to make one promise to the Friday Night Spikes crew and to you, as you and all, and God is my witness. I will not, no matter what, be picking Arkansas to go to Omaha. I refuse to believe.
I'm gonna start calling the Hogs.
I refuse to believe until I see it. I have been duped before, and I shall not be duped again.
They're probably begging to get like a red hot ACC team over a slipping Big 12 team.
Yeah, well, I can't wait till fucking SEMO gets in their regional and No, listen, they need me to reverse jinx them because last year I picked Arkansas to win it all, and they lost to SEMO. So
Now, ask Cruz if he was there when Mitzi convinced Dave to put a whole bunch of money on Arkansas to win the national championship.
Before my time.
Before.
Well, man, I love the Hogs, man. And Dave, I tell you what, man, I really I love the Hogs and Omaha. I tell you what.
I will not be doing that.
And it just pans to Dave in like full Arkansas merch.
That was a year before I started. Thank God.
You said it was a log.
Yeah, well, I would have had to deal with that shit too.
I still got to get Mincy on the show and debate him why I think the Vandy Whistler's good for college baseball.
You might lose that one.
He will die. I am not going to be on that. That is all you, my guy.
Hey, what about Vandy OU? What do we got there?
OU's clinging to a 4-2 lead in the sixth.
Okay. How about Texas, Kentucky?
Texas added on with 2 in the eighth to make it 6-3. I guess, I didn't realize Kentucky got a run tonight.
Close,
Kentucky was leading pretty late. Grabs Volantis to slam the door. Volantis only threw 11 pitches, so he'll be back.
All right, let's see. What series am I missing? What have I not asked about?
Florida.
Oh, no, Florida-Mizzou got postponed.
Yeah, they're in a rain delay.
Are they delayed? Are they going to play tonight?
Let me double check. Oh, Chris,
I thought they got postponed.
I did do an ad read too, by the way.
I did. I actually tuned in when you were doing it, so good shit. Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you for doing that. FanDuel thanks you.
I know. I don't want to be like Barstool and have to do like a retraction video like they had to do.
All right.
Oh, postponed. Doubleheader tomorrow.
Postponed. Doubleheader tomorrow. Okay, gotcha.
They're doing starting at 5. What? They're gonna play till like midnight.
Yeah, that's wild. Probably the rain's gonna. It's probably the rain's gonna be in there in the morning.
2 7-inning games, which didn't matter last week with Arkansas. They run ruled them anyway.
Trying to think, who have I missed? Anybody? I already said Texas. They're up on Kentucky, 6-3. Who did I miss? Anybody? I guess that's all of them.
That's all 8.
Right. That's all 8. All right, cool. Well, good shit, Jake. I'll let you take it. Thank you for letting me jump in. I appreciate you doing it solo, even though it's ironically enough. I've been telling people for a while, what's so funny about Friday Night Spikes is it was your idea to begin with, and we just sort of took it over.
It's been great.
It has. But I appreciate you holding down the fort on this Friday while I've been getting into shenanigans. So T-Town has a way of doing this to you. So.
Y'all have fun at Galette's.
Who knows where we're going? I don't.
Go to Ennis.
This is the treasurer of Tuscaloosa. We're outside of Bryant Denny, the house that Mike Shula built.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
You know, somebody got croomed in that place, Chris.
Got what?
Croomed. It's when you lose to Mississippi State, so they fire you.
Okay, that was here.
Okay, that was a low blow.
and by the way, they even lost at Mississippi State. Never lost at home to Mississippi State.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you get rowdy.
Hey, tell I can't even see the comments. Or actually, yes, I can.
Bart's in there.
Let me say hello. Big Orange, what's up? Gig 'em Bart. Everybody, what's going on? Clint Grizzle. Sam, I can't even get to all the names. No, listen, we really appreciate y'all tuning in. Friday Night Spikes, I say it every week, I think I can say for all of us, has become our favorite piece of content every single week throughout the college baseball season and really throughout the entire year, I could argue. So we appreciate y'all. Glad y'all love college baseball. In the midst, by the way, of college football sucking because these players are just the Nico Iamaleavas of the world. I'm so glad that college baseball stands free.
Nico, I'm Olivia.
Jake, we might just start talking. We might start doing Friday Night Spikes on Fridays in the football season.
That would be rowdy.
We're like, to hell with it. Hey, we're coming live from a scrimmage at some college at this point. So I appreciate everybody that's engaging, interacting, and making college baseball season what it is, man. So
it's been great.
Man, appreciate you. Keep it rocking. And, I'll talk to you on the other side, brother.
See ya.
Be good.
Bye. All right, we'll kind of get caught up here in the chat a little bit pretty quickly. Let me see where we were. Terrible Aggie shirt. Yeah, I do need some Texas merch. Max Wiener said he would hook me up, so waiting on some Texas stuff. Gig and Bart's in Austin. That's kind of the ultimate plot twist, if you will. Arkansas. Don't jinx Arkansas. I think DVH has tried everything to not. Arkansas. That one's a tough one. A&M is going to Fayetteville next week, so Gig and Bart, that'll be a good prove it for both of them. I don't see how Arkansas drops that one. They're just on an unbelievable heater right now. Yeah, Nico to Colorado would be pretty funny. Nico to Bama would be even more funny, unfortunately, Tennessee fans. Alabama, yeah, they were not at their best tonight, Ryan. I won't put that one up there, but I'll kind of highlight it. I mean, so this happens sometimes in the SEC. I mean, they're not at a time yet, as I think that they still have a few outs to play with to avoid getting run ruled. Zane Adams is going to bounce back. I think he's too talented of a pitcher to pitch the way that he did. He gets chased in the fourth. Didn't walk anybody, but also really wasn't that effective. Hunter Hines, just an ultimate bounce back one. And then nobody out of that bullpen for Bama really kind of gave them a little bit of a lift. So, I mean, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, if you will, tomorrow for Alabama. They're going to get Riley Quicks. They're going to get one of their guys going tomorrow. I don't know how long he'll go just from a health standpoint. He's probably good for about 60, if you will. So however long it takes him to get to 60. That's all the games. So any questions anybody has, I'll be sure to answer them. If there's anything you want me to highlight more, we can talk more about Texas. We can talk more about OU, Tennessee. Is Liam positioning himself to be the best pitcher in the – I would think so. It's Pico Khan's pretty good at Mississippi State. There's been a few other guys that have had some pretty bad outings that you would consider elite. I don't see why you wouldn't want Liam Doyle on your team. I don't know why Ole Miss let him walk. He's been absolutely dominant. I think he's making a name to be maybe the best pitcher in the country. Because, I mean, if you can dominate the SEC the way that he's dominated, I mean, he threw a no-hitter last week to a team that I'd have to pull the stat from Ryan Broniger. I think they've scored 140 runs in like a 8 or 9 game span, and Liam Doyle no-hits them. I mean, that's just a crazy, crazy stat. I mean, that just shows you really how dominant Hogs haven't scored. I would be interested to see, because they out-hit Georgia tonight, and Georgia was second in the conference in average, how much the distance between those two teams now from an average standpoint is. Hog fans, I'm sorry, if you will, that the pitching coach is going to be sticking, or the hitting coach is going to be sticking around a little bit longer. Here's the crazy part is they're not even like 100% healthy. If they can get Zach Root back, which again, I think is like 50-50, if they can get Logan Maxwell up to 100 as he kind of works his way back, that one's going to be very interesting to see how he goes going forward. Who pissed the Aggies off? Damn. Some would say me, because I had a lot of A&M people who are not happy with my comments that I made a month ago. So maybe they have a picture of me posted up in their locker room just with like loser written on my forehead. I was 100% dead wrong about this Aggie team. They have gelled immensely quick. I've talked to a few coaches. They say sometimes it takes people longer to gel. Some people gel really early. Like, for example, Tennessee, they said they gelled after the first weekend. I think A&M's just in their gelling phase, if you will. They feel very comfortable. They ooze confidence at the plate. I think the scary part, too, is they're really not even being effective hitters with runners on base. I know that probably changes tonight, this narrative, but they're just putting themselves in so many positions to score runs that the law of averages eventually gets them into it. So when they start kind of getting a little bit of a clutch factor, I think that that's kind of where they'll really, really shine. Is the Texas bullpen a weakness? Yes and no. I think that the Texas bullpen with Dylan Volantis, Max Grubb is the best 1-2 bullpen punch in the league. And they use Volantis almost like a forced starter with Ruger Riojas going on Sunday. Outside of that, there's a little bit of unknown. They've been a little bit susceptible in some of these midweeks against Texas State, UTSA. Everybody kind of has, because those are two high-quality teams. I wouldn't say that it's a weakness. I would argue that it's a strength. But outside of those two guys, it's completely unknown. Sam Dutton. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about him? You were a little bit worried about him and Liam Doyle controlling their emotions. Sam Dutton, obviously being at home, was able to control them immensely. Liam Doyle was too as well. But just an ultimate kind of chin check to Jay Johnson that just, He had a really weird role last year where they roomed him into an opener. There's been rumors that he kind of was shown the door, transfers to Auburn, and immediately shuts down his old team on Friday night, which Texas doesn't really lose, or LSU doesn't really lose on Friday night. So it's interesting to see kind of how that goes. Number one, I assume that this is towards your Texas Longhorns. Yeah. I mean, they have an argument to be number one. It's interesting because I feel like Texas fans don't want the curse of number one. Arkansas fans don't want the curse of number one. Both of them have a ridiculous say for it. Texas will own Arkansas per usual. I will kind of clean up that Arkansas slur for you so Arkansas fans don't come for me. I think it's going to be a talented series. I'm really interested to see what Texas does tomorrow, as Kentucky does have a meat grinder of a lineup that can kind of get through it. So it's going to be interesting to see because it's almost like a little test for Arkansas. Kentucky has a dynamic lineup. So it's going to be interesting to see. Aggies are out for revenge. Yes, they are. Zach Root is healthy. I did confuse Zach Root. I did want to apologize for that. It's Gage Wood. I meant Gage Wood, not Zach Root. So it did get a little bit of a correction there. Cameron, you're going to be my take corrections guy at the end. Zach Root is 100% completely healthy. He absolutely shoved tonight. It's Gage Wood that I was referring to. Sam Dutton is not the sexy Friday night. I think that's the perfect way to describe Sam Dutton. He's that old, reliable horse that's been there forever. You know you're going to get 6 innings out of him. Every once in a while, he's going to be elite. He's not going to pound 100. He's not going to break off some insane curveball that makes everybody go, wow. But, at the end of the day, you're looking up at the 7th inning and you have a chance to win. Let's see what else we got. Jake, how was the Diablo wing? It was a tender, and it was awful. My stomach is still in knots. It was probably the worst thing I've ever had. I chugged 10 waters in the span of probably 5 minutes, and the only thing that really helped it was ice cream. So next time you go to have spicy food, eat some ice cream. Any reason why Tyson Witherspoon didn't first for OU? They said it was stiffness, so they got him out of a routine, and they wanted to make sure that he was still in a routine. So he is going to pitch tomorrow, as they took an extra day of rest to get his body ready. Some of his post-workout stuff, I think, is what the reason was, is he needed just a cold reset. As someone who's a fan of OU and analogies, I kind of didn't like that we got a Witherspoon sandwich canceled this week, but he's going to be completely fine. It was just stiffness. Again, we're at the halfway point of the season. This is the quote-unquote dog days of the SEC, if you will. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use him. Texas will get run rules by August. Mark my words. Okay. We'll go ahead and start that one. That one, I don't think either of those teams run rule, either of them, but it's going to be interesting. Do I work at a dry cleaners? No, these are all jerseys behind me. Unfortunately not. Jake versus Jake Mckeever. Do the Vols have the best starting rotation once AJ Russell is back? That's an interesting one. I think LSU has a really good starting rotation at the top end with Cade Anderson, who threw the outing that he had last weekend. Anthony Ianson, who's going to be a Friday night at a ton of schools, and Chase Shores on the back end on Sunday. Texas A&M is probably the most used starting pitching. They're a really solid group. Arkansas with Zach Root, Gabe Gackle, Cheese at the back end are a really good one. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how it does, because if you would have told me at the beginning of the year, I would have said, no way. The weakness of this Tennessee team is the pitching. But the way Liam Doyle is pitching, if we can get a good bounce back one from Marcus Phillips, that'll be another one that we can kind of see. But again, AJ Russell is going to slide in, because that really is the one thing, is that Tennessee doesn't have that Sunday guy. Bevo is just a $2. I think Bevo is a little bit more expensive than that, Steve, but I could be wrong. Some Texas fans are going to have to do some research on that one. Once AJ returns, that bullpen, yeah, that pitching lineup I think will get interesting. I mean, they have a lot of different ways that they could kind of, move into certain ways. Tanner Franklin's, I think, one of my favorite bullpen arms in the country. How they utilize him going forward. I know that he had a pretty bad outing. All games in the SEC have gone final except for that OU one, so we'll move that one onto the TV. OU leads 5-3 in the 7th inning. Beef stock is going down. I mean, I'm a big beef guy, so let's see. once AJ Russell is back, is he the Sunday starter? I don't. That one's more of a philosophy on Tony V more so than me. If you were starting it at the beginning of the year, I think he'd be the Saturday guy. But you don't want to get Marcus Phillips out of routine. You don't want to get AJ Russell rushed back too quickly. So on paper, I mean, we've seen it at a few schools like Kentucky with Mckeever. They've left Mckeever in that Sunday role just to kind of keep him the same, which, he would be kind of that Friday night guy, if you will. So I think they're just going to slot him into that Sunday role just to keep everything working. Auburn's done it a little bit too with some of their injuries. We still have Snead, and Tennessee has like a bevy of bullpen arms that we've seen. It's one of the deepest bullpens I think in the country. They have no issues with any bullpens. Let's see. Sam Dutton is the perfect Saturday guy, but IU doesn't have that Friday. I think that's a good way to describe it. He'd be that perfect Saturday guy going forward. If they can get Chatterton for Auburn working a little bit, as I know that he's kind of found his way out of the rotation, they go with another freshman too as well. His name kind of eludes me. I think it's Arquette. He's another one that's really good. Tusk is better than Pifo. That one's interesting. I think Ralphie's the best live mascot, with Bevo being a close second. Tusk, I have met both Tusk and Bevo. Tusk is pretty intimidating. Bevo's also very intimidating. I actually got to pet Bevo. Fun fact. But who else? I'm not a big fan of Uga. Not a big fan of Bully. Reveille's just like a generic family dog. Big fan of Mike the Tiger. I think Mike the Tiger clears both of them. Smokey's another good live mascot. I actually got to meet him a few years ago at the AGR house after a night at Cool Beans. One of the coolest things I think I've ever done was I got to meet Smokey. He's very loud at 2 a.m. I met his handler's brother at Cool Beans, and I didn't believe him. Yes, Andres Alvarez is the other. He's been really good for them. They use him in good spots. I think the best and coolest thing about Auburn's the way that they go about their starters is they really do piece it together, and not in like a negative way, because they use guys like they'll throw 3 guys that'll throw 3 innings. So I think that's the one, like they don't really have a necessary starter bullpen closer in the stereotypical one. It's the one that I think that's the one like that really kind of jumps out to me is how Auburn's doing it in a unique way, which I absolutely love it when people win in unique ways. We've seen it at OU with chaos. We've seen it at Kentucky with they need a marketing term for the brand of baseball that they loving each other. We don't move. I think what Auburn does with the bullpen, it'll be interesting to see how they go about it, because again, it is just one night. There's been plenty of teams that have gentlemen swept in the SEC. OU just scored a run. Yep, I am a little bit behind. Oh, they just scored 2. Dayton Taki's another good guy for OU. He's their first baseman, lefty. Reminds me a little bit of like a Mark Kotze for some of those older guys. James Loney, just a throwback lefty that can go gap to gap, if you will. He's underratedly fast too as well, which fits perfectly into the OU one. That would push the OU lead up to 7-3. If they can get a few more runs, they might be able to save that bullpen a little bit because they have Bodine. Fisher is the opener. They do that weird thing where they throw 3 innings. It really is a marvel if you get a chance to go watch the Texas pitching staff in person, because it should be so simplistic, and it should be something that every team in the country should be able to replicate. The Max Wiener philosophy of pound the zone, the arm farm, care, this, and this. But, the way that Max Wiener explains it, the confidence that these pitchers have coming out on the mound, it just radiates off of this. Clint Grizzle, I agree. I don't think that you mess with Liam, Doyle, or Phillips. They've been great. AJ Russ was a Friday night starter last year. Crazy Tennessee lost Chase Boards. Yeah, they did it with an opener, too. That's the part that's even crazier. I'd be really curious to see how this year's Tennessee team would stack up to last year's Tennessee team when they're fully healthy, because, again, they're still working through Gavin Keelan's. I know that he played tonight, I believe. I'd have to go check the box score, but he's clearly not at 100%. It's going to be interesting to see how Tennessee kind of finishes up the year. Some of those Tennessee fans are going to have to let me know if you were to rank, the last 4 years of Tennessee teams from this year, last year, obviously 4 years ago. Was it 4 or 5 years ago when they got knocked out by Notre Dame in that regional? Ranking all of those Tennessee teams and kind of where they sit. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, Clint, thanks for that. 2 for 4 with a single. I actually didn't. I'm going to go and watch that one on Wheels after we get done with Friday Night Spikes. But Gavin Keelan's just an incredible talent. It moves Curley back to short. So that's the one kind of quote unquote downside, if you will. But again, I'm sure that they would much rather have. Keelan DH today. So I guess that they're still kind of Antigua. Oh, they played Curley at third. Yeah, actually, I didn't know that because they used Manny at second. So that one's obviously he kind of gets back. It'll be interesting to see kind of how they do. South Carolina outplayed A&M yesterday, but they just can't win those close one. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. Yesterday when I was watching that game, early on, I think in the 4th or 5th inning, I was like, how the hell is A&M not run ruling this team? I feel like they're kind of letting them play around a little bit. And then when we got into the 8th and 9th, and South Carolina chipped away, and South Carolina had nearly triple the hits that A&M had, and A&M had retired 14 times in a row. I was like, how the hell is A&M going to win this one? And then, like I said, it was just a complete shell shock today. I mean, they had the walk bug. They had everything go wrong for them. This isn't a Paul Mainieri South Carolina team by any stretch of the imagination. I think the South Carolina fans would tell you that. This Paul Mainieri kind of gets his guys in to build a program. I've talked to a few of his former players. I mean, they absolutely love him to death. So 22 is 1. 24. Ooh, that's interesting. I would put the 23 team at number 4 too as well. That's kind of what I was thinking, which is crazy that your number 4 team was playing into I believe the Final Four. The 50K, yes, that's a absolute classic one. Which, by the way, that one's kind of funny because when I was talking to Waz, in the fall, he was like, he goes, we tried to run a regional with 4 pitchers, and he goes, that's about what happened when you try and do that. Prager lost a lot of money coming back. I don't think it was ever about the money for Ryan Prager. I think that they tried to lowball him with his draft slot. From when I talked to a few scouts, they didn't have him rated as highly as. Let me figure out how to word this. Analytics really hate Ryan Prager, and there's some teams that don't watch games. It's that trouble with the curve guy who sits behind the computer. So I think that they tried to lowball Ryan Prager, and that's why he ended up coming back. A, B, I'm pretty sure A&M gave him a very enticing NIL deal. C, he gets to enjoy being in college. He did miss a year due to an injury, so he's technically, I believe, still has another year if he wanted to come back. I wouldn't really worried about that. Hagen Smith doing Hagen Smith things. Just an incredible one. I was there last year when he played that Oregon State team and struck out 14 and 15 outs as he was on a pitch limit and only threw 5 innings. It was pretty crazy. 2022 was Tennessee's best team. Was also great, but didn't have College World Series experience. 2023, yeah, they did kind of run into that buzzsaw that was Skeens. The 21 team was pretty good. That was the one where Texas, I believe, beat him and knocked him out. The 24 team is the second best team as 1 through 9 could match, but pitching, I would agree. I think that's actually a pretty good assessment of the situation. It's so nitpicky though, and I'm sure that this is just an unreal run for the Vols. It's all the Omaha success that you could want. Arkansas is quietly on a very similar one too as well, as I believe with their win tonight. They sit at 32-3, so barring a epic collapse of 1994 Houston Oilers Buffalo Bills playoff game, this is going to be 8 straight seasons for the Arkansas Razorbacks winning 40 wins. Obviously, it hasn't translated to that big one at the end of the road, if you will, but credit to DVH for kind of answering the bell every single time. I think he's eventually going to get one. I'm rooting really hard for DVH to go ahead and get his ring. He hit, let me double check because I know I saw Arkansas posted about it. It was DVH across JUCO, Div 3 to D1. It was DVH's 1,500th win. 50 win season for Arkansas. I don't know. I mean, DVH always does these things where he goes hot, cold, hot. Like if you remember when they went, like they didn't even host a regional. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. That's 18 away. How many midweeks do they have left? That's 14 SEC wins in their next. I don't think that's likely that they'll get to 50. I think they'll probably hit 48. I mean, they play Texas, LSU, Tennessee back to back down the stretch. That's going to be one of those things where all of these fans of Big 12 teams and ACC teams are going to get so pissed at us fans of the SEC that, Arkansas, if they go, let's see, 3, 6, 9, if they lose 2 of 3 and take a series against, maybe Texas or Tennessee, like they could realistically kind of quote unquote limp their way into the tournament and probably be a 3 or 4 seed, and it really wouldn't be that outlandish. It's just an unreal. Every single team in the SEC has an unreal stretch at some point. Georgia's going through it right now. OU's going through it right now. Texas, goes A&M, Arkansas. Florida is going to be fighting for their. I mean, they're going to play teams that are fighting for their lives, if you will. In Texas A&M and Florida, I don't think Texas A&M is going to need any more extra motivation to go down and play in Austin. I don't think Jim Slosnick is going to need to give some rah speech. Hook 'em, yeah. Hook 'em Horns. It's a good time to be a Longhorn fan. I don't think anybody has it better than the Horns right now. They are on just an unreal heater right now from a baseball standpoint. They are at 28-4, 12-1 in the SEC. It was already their best start in any conference in history. I would have to have some Texas experts. Maybe that's a good question for our buddy Nash Talks Texas about what the best start is for Texas, because I feel like we're quickly but I mean, the way that this bullpen pitches and the way that this team hits, I don't see how they drop series. Bart, I do apologize as I kind of do some Texas stuff there. Is there any other teams you want to talk about? Gackle is going to have 10K. I believe it. Georgia's kind of stuck in a little bit of a rut, and the best thing to do when you have some of these teams down is just keep swinging, and get in and out of there. And I had an SEC coach tell me, this is about Texas A&M after they beat him. He goes, I'm glad we played them this time because they're going to figure it out. I'm glad they didn't figure it out against us, but they're going to figure it out eventually. That's kind of how it is with Georgia. Like, eventually, the way that this team hits, that they're going to absolutely explode for some of these runs. Unfortunately, Georgia is kind of hitting this lull right now. I don't think they're a fraud. They do sit at 8-5 in the SEC. They've already played Florida. They've already played Auburn, who are both two quality teams. But interesting note. Oh, no, I guess Kentucky. I forgot Kentucky took that Saturday one. It's either swept or get swept for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They end with A&M in Athens. That's going to be a fun one, too. That Alabama-Georgia one, God, that's going to be another fun one. There's so many fun SEC matchups. I expect Curley to have I agree. I expect Curley. Well, I thought he pitched today. Didn't Curley pitch today? I thought they were moving him up into the Friday night role. Let me pull up the live stats for him because I thought that's what I. Yeah, Brian Curley threw today. He threw 80 pitches for him. JT Quinn was all right, if you will, and then just at the back end, they completely, absolutely ran out of gas down the stretch. There's a lot of storylines in the SEC. We saw what Liam Doyle did yesterday. I'm about to go watch that on Wheels here. We are going to do a hard 1 hour cutoff. As much fun as it is spending time with you guys. I feel like we've covered everything in the SEC. We can swing it around, if you will. If you are an absolute baseball diehard and you are looking for who the next best pitcher is going to be in the SEC, just go up and watch Yale baseball on a Friday night or Friday afternoon, because I think that they play Friday afternoons. Let me pull up the kid's name because he absolutely shoved for him. What are your thoughts moving forward on LSU Auburn going forward? I can be honest with you. I don't know if much changes for me about thinking LSU. I mean, LSU is very capable of coming back and winning the next 2 games. Auburn, I will say this, Auburn just continues to impress me, and I really do need to stop sleeping on them. It's a very dynamic lineup. It's a lineup that can score in a variety of different ways. It's a lineup that has so the one thing I will say about the lineups that can score in a variety of ways is they usually lack a headliner. But Auburn doesn't have that. I mean, Ike Irish is just an incredible talent. I think Drink Local, you'd have to help me out on this. Ike Irish is the best Auburn baseball player since when? You would probably know it a little bit better than me, but obviously he's not the best ever, as they've had Frank Thomas, Bo Jackson, Casey Mize, but I think he's the best in at least the last 5 years, in my opinion, from a talent standpoint. Just to get back to Ivy League stuff, that kid's name is Jack Oman. Jack Oman threw 9 innings, 5 hits, no runs allowed for a Columbia team that was first in the SEC. A whopping 107 people went out to Yale's ballpark today to watch that one at Bush Field, named after President George Bush, the first one. Yes, I would say Jack Oman is going to be in the SEC sooner rather than later. What are your picks as of now in the Auburn LSU series? I'll go LSU. I mean, at the end of the day, they still have they still have Anthony Ianson and Chase Shores, so you feel pretty good about LSU. They're going to have somebody step up out of the bullpen. The lineup's going to be a little bit more dynamic. Josh Donaldson, yeah, I would say that. Josh Donaldson was 2010, 2011. I think that's probably a good spot to land at for him. I mean, Ike Irish is truly a generational talent. I mean, ironically, his uncle is the head baseball coach up at Michigan State, as he is a Michigan guy. Actually found that out from like an obituary, by the way, because we were trying to find Ike Irish's dad's name, and it pulled up like his grandma's obituary, and it said that it was like, oh, like this is this. It was just a very obscure thing to find out, but yeah, Ike Irish is related to the Michigan State head baseball coach. Around the league, Oregon State is up 3-2 on Cal State Fullerton. Dallas Baptist took care of business against Jacksonville State. Poly is up 2-1 on Hawaii. Poly is still the lone undefeated team in Oregon State. They're the lone undefeated conference team across any conference in the country. Let's see what else. Don't care about that. Let's go to Big 12. Big 12. Oh yeah, I saw that. TCU absolutely beats the doors off of Kansas. UCF beats the doors off of Kansas State. That is, I believe, 3 of 4 for Kansas State, as they're kind of starting to slide the wrong way. Texas Tech beat Baylor 9-2. West Virginia, if you will, the litmus test of college baseball. If you lose to West Virginia, you are a bad team. If you beat West Virginia, you're considered a good team. Their schedule has been absolutely unique. They have played one of the easiest front stretches in the Big 12. Again, they have taken care of business, but BYU, Utah, Houston in back-to-back weekends. Obviously, it's going to get a lot tougher down the stretch. But, I think we can almost count on West Virginia hosting a regional. Arizona State falls to Cincinnati 11-7. Our boy Noah Beanick was there for that one, so shout out to him. And the Rice Owls lose 14-3 to South Florida at Reckling Park. Big shout out to South Florida, by the way. They take over Indiana State's coach. I think that they're kind of an underrated sleeper team. SEC fans, one of these teams I think is going to end up in your regional, either UTSA, South Florida. ECU's always kind of one. They're pretty down this year as they lost tonight. Tennessee Bats haven't been hot lately. Getting Keelan back in the lineup is a big, but Tennessee needs to be able to win low-scoring games is a great sign. I would agree, but never underestimate how much a lineup changes from a confidence standpoint when somebody re-enters the lineup. I mean, we've seen it with Texas A&M with Caden Sorrell. We saw it tonight with Texas and Adrian Rodriguez. it seems like when you get your starters, your normal guys in, everybody kind of breathes a little bit easier, if you will. So don't discredit the momentum side of it. As we hit the 1 hour mark, going to do one last ad read so we don't get sued. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is going to be the ad read. The wait is over. Baseball season is finally here, and you can start strong on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You can tell I did not do any acting stuff because right now FanDuel is celebrating the return of baseball by giving new customers $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to get in on the action, from hits to steals to home runs. They've got a lineup filled with all of your favorite bets, or if pitching is more of your thing, FanDuel has a deep bullpen of bets from strikeouts to shutout inning props. I'm a big fan of the Nefri. That one's my go-to. I've won a few Nefri bets too as well. I've also lost a few, so this is not gambling advice. If pitching is more your thing, I already did that. So when you place your first bet, it can be almost anything: baseball, basketball, football, UFL's back. You win $250 in bonus bets. Just go to fanduel.com/SECU. That's fanduel.com/SECU. Make every moment with FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball, count. Let me do this one to the sideways. Disclaimer: must be 21 and present in select states. For Kansas, an affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in Washington, D.C. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Find Gambling Help Line MA.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see everybody on Monday for the wind-up with Chris and Harrison, and then we'll see everybody next Friday on Friday Night Spikes. We should be back at a full rotation. This has been Jake Mckeever with the complete game shutout, Cade Anderson-esque, if you will. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and see y'all next week.